Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all doing well on this wonderful rainy day that we have. And it's not really raining that bad. It's kind of just sprinkling. But um, I do want to let you know about our class today. So today's class is because what holiday do we have next? It's actually one of my favorite holidays, New Year's. And it's the best time to make what they call a resolution. So a New Year's resolution is something that you've wanted to do, and it's to test your resolve on if you can do it. That means a lot of times people will be like, oh, I made this New Year's resolution, and it's to like maybe eat less fast food, things like that. Um, but there's a lot of different ways you can think about it. So that's what the class is on today, is all the different ideas you might come up with. And so I found a website that can actually help with that, help with figure out some ideas for you. And maybe if you have some ideas, please, make sure that you let the group know that you have some great ideas as to what New Year's resolutions could look like for them. So I've come up with my resolution. I will tell you at the very end of the class, that way you all don't just steal my resolution, but then I guess you could steal it at the end of this, but maybe you'll go with one of these other ideas on what we found. And like I said, the word resolve just means that you resolve to do it. I've had different resolutions throughout the years. Some of them have stuck. Some of them I did for a year. And some of them I did have continued to do lifelong. So it all depends on your resolve. Like, how much do you really want this? And at first, I'll admit that they become difficult because you're like, oh, now I just have a craving, and you think about it quite a bit, depending on what your resolution is. Sorry, this thing just popped up on the screen. Depending on what your resolution is. So come up with a resolution that's something that you feel that you can do and something that's attainable, as opposed to like way out there, like, I'm going to make $1 million this year. Not really an attainable goal. You need a lot to actually do certain things like that, or I'm going to take a rocket to space or something. So unless you know Elon Musk, I don't think, it's really going to, or one of the Jeff Bezos, or, it's not, probably won't happen. So make it realistic. Like, what can I do? So let's get started on the class. So New Year's resolutions have been a way to stock of what's truly important in our lives, allowing us to pause and reflect on the year behind us. So that's a very important thing. Think about the last year. What is it that I really want to change from what I've noticed from this last year? So sometimes it's improving your body, mind, and soul is a great way to organize your long-term goals, whatever your long-term goal is. And short-term goal is not eat as much fast food. Long-term goal is I want to get in a certain shape or something, or I want to read this many books throughout the year, depending. So focusing on your health and well-being doesn't have to translate to starting a new diet, workout plan, or diving headfirst into reclaiming your space. So this is so start here to create a list of attainable New Year's resolutions that allow you to make healthier lifestyle tweaks every day. You'll kick off the year with a stronger, well-nourished body and enriched mind. Apparently, for them, if you adopt any of these daily habits. So these are ones to do day to day. So, and keep your resolutions by using a planner, or maybe, you could just have a calendar, just have one ready, and you can write down each day on the calendar, sometimes even just putting like a sticker on each day, like, hey, this is the day that I actually did my New Year's resolution. Sorry. distracting such. All right, so number one, building a better budget. And this is good for anybody because all of a good portion of us work, and some of us get money from like maybe allowance or from different places. And so building a better, now there's 65 of these. We're not going to go over all of them. I'm going to kind of skip through, but I'll go through the ones that I think really apply to us. So there's budgeting apps. There's different things you can talk to if you have an ILS worker or your family about different ways of just saving money, you know? And it doesn't have to be huge. You can just put away, say, have like an envelope, like this is my trip to such and such a place. And I'm going to save up for that. And I'm going to put $1 in every week. And really, and then you can always add to it even more. Like say you find some loose change, just put that in there. Or go to one of those change machines, turn that into $1. There's a lot of things you can do with that. And then just save towards something and say, hey, guess what? I saved up to go to Six Flags. I saved up to go to Disneyland. I saved up to do this. Now, it might not be all this year, but if you really plan well, you can do it. Another thing is to practice mindfulness. So anxiety, which is something that most people feel, and the good thing is a lot of sports stars and people such as that, I mean, even actors, have come out and said that I'm anxious. And some people really have a difficulty with it. And I felt anxious in my life, but and anxiety can nag at anyone during any season in all parts of life. And it can be easy to let the idea of the future or past experiences inform your reality of the present. So instead of focusing on the past, what have I learned from everything, and how can I focus on the present? So practicing mindfulness means doing everything you can do to be grateful for what you have in the moment, where you are in your life, and who you are right now. And that's a very important thing to recognize, is mindfulness. Another one, cooking something new each week. That might be tough. So, because it's expensive, believe me, I know. I don't cook something new each week. But you can do variations on a theme. So say you have something and you're like, you know what, I'm going to add a little bit of this. If you have some spices you haven't worked with and you look at how does this all work together? So, but it helps kind of build your palate. And as you build your palate, you'll desire more food as you go through everything. And maybe desire a taste for it. And maybe try, if it's not that, maybe go to a restaurant that you might not know anything about the culture of a certain place in the world. We live in the Bay Area. It's an awesome place to live. There are restaurants and from places that like Nepalese food, there's Ethiopian food, there's obviously a lot of Mexican food, Chinese food, all sorts of Asian food. There's Thai food. There's pho. There's all sorts of wonderful things here. And maybe go out and try something that you're like, oh, well, I'll admit I'm kind of a picky eater. But once in a while, you find something that you're like, oh, so glad I tried that. It's made my day better. All right, read more books. It's always a good thing, and it doesn't matter. Like, some people will say, oh, well, read a novel. You feel better. Comic books are good. Short stories are good. You don't have to read an entire book, per se. Poetry is wonderful. Just really reading more, enhance. You don't have to read something incredibly long to feel successful. Read a poem and really digest it. It can be a great thing. All right, now we're skipping that one. Skipping that one. Okay, almost. Okay, oh, here's a good one. Commit to a healthier sleep routine. This is for you all who stay up late at night. I'm one of you, so don't worry. But there are reasons for why. Some nights I go to bed early, some nights I go to bed too late. So balance is a good thing. But so many issues can be traced back to a poor night's sleep, and yet there is so much more that we can do, that we can aim to improve beyond a reasonable bedtime. Create a plan to improve your sleep hygiene, and it is a hygiene. The habits you maintain to get good sleep every night may look for different for everyone, as it depends on when you need to be active and working throughout the day. Your brain actually relies on cues to regulate your internal circadian rhythm. So we all have this. The circadian rhythm is kind of like, it's one of those things where, say, on the weekend, you're like, I kind of want to sleep in. And you can't. You get up at the same time that you do pretty much every other day. Well, that's a circadian rhythm because you're in that rhythm. Your body's in that rhythm. Your body will actually wake you up. So, but you want to make sure you maximize this rhythm as much as possible so that, because it's going to kick in no matter what. Basically, it's like it's going to wake you up whether you got a good night's sleep or you didn't. So create a good sleep routine. Just say, you know what? I'm going to read right before bed. I'm going to play this game or something on my phone. One game, turning off my phone. I want to be to bed by whatever time suits you for now. It's a good thing to do. You'll notice a difference. I swear. Let's see. Well, here's one. Quit smoking. I don't think any of y'all smoke, so. But, I do know. Here's a good one. Learn to love vegetables. And whatever vegetables you do choose to love. So whether you're working on weight management or towards a balanced diet, vegetables are your friends. Fiber-rich vegetables are especially crucial for healthy hearts and strong veins. Yeah. So the healthiest vegetables that you should try to eat often double down on gut healthy fiber. So, and there's lots of them. Somebody mentioned the other day zucchini. Now, fried zucchini probably not the best, but if you ever get a chance to just kind of have a zucchini, just sprinkle some pepper and salt on pretty much any vegetable once it's sliced properly. It's good stuff. Um, but really, give that a try, and with different vegetables, because it really does help your digestive system. It helps you process things. Um, yeah, without it, we wouldn't really process. Our body wouldn't process as well, especially if you eat a lot of meat or anything like that. You need something to really kind of cleanse the palate out, and vegetables are a wonderful way to do that. All right, exercise your brain. So one, two. I'm just kidding. That's just my head. Scientists are always learning more about how humans work to stave off cognitive decline. And while data is divided, if one thing is for sure, games can indeed play a role here. Researchers at, um, researchers at Duke University studied participants' brain activity when they completed simple math problems and found that solving them feels like a reward, helping to curb negative feelings. Playing the mind-boosting games featured um, can help manage stress and anxiety as well as boost happiness endorphins at the same time. So games can help, but again, when it's like kind of oriented towards education and things like that, it can be a lot more helpful and healthy. Once you've conquered something in a way, or a game and you've solved it, your brain reacts to it, and it's because you've gotten through something. And I'm not suggesting this to everybody, but they also say that arguing, and maybe not so arguing, but being able to disagree with somebody about something and saying, oh, not saying that they're not right, but more saying that there's also this, there's also this, there's also this, which many of you in the group, I can't really name names, but many of you do that and kind of exercise your mind by thinking of others, but also of thinking of different ways of doing things. It's also important to go just the other way and make sure that you're listening to other people as well. Oh, here's a good one. Become a plant owner. I've offered plants to people. I can't really anymore, but I have. But being a plant owner helps with responsibility. Just the presence of indoor plants can lower human stress levels, which research shows. And one study found that actively caring for plants calmed the autonomic nervous system and lowered blood pressure. And when people work near plants, they report greater concentration, satisfaction, and perceived air quality, which you could also get with, well, just with an air purifier. But plants are good. Plants are lovely to have. Let's see. Nope, skipping. Here's a good one. Since we talked about as well, with budgeting your money, plan a vacation. And so plan a vacation to somewhere you really want to go. And thinking about an upcoming trip can boost happiness for weeks. And the other thing about that is plan it, but really enjoy where you are. Because it might not be everything you set it up to be, but at the time, really take that time to, practice mindfulness during that time. So you can be like, I'm really here. And it doesn't matter what's going on outside of me. What matters is right where I am. All right, let's go for two more. Um, it's kind of preachy. Okay, volunteer regularly, which we do, but let's make a plan to do that even more. Try to get on the schedule for doing more volunteer activities. But it shows that pitching in regularly can lead to less stress and lower blood pressure. Try to schedule an outreach mission of your own on a day of service. So many recognize Martin Luther King Day as a prime opportunity, or even Veterans Day in November, which is past, but for the next year. And use this day to jumpstart a longer-term personal commitment and consider working on this goal with loved ones all year round. All right, one more, and then I'll tell you my one. All right, here's one. And do this carefully, but it's also good, and you really can find them anywhere. And I'll show this right now. Lift weights. If you've already mastered your cardio workouts in the past few, so cardio would be aerobic exercise, whereas lifting weights is anaerobic, where it deals with the muscle. But if you've already mastered your cardio workouts in the past few years, try and incorporate a new routine. Quality set of dumbbells can elevate your workout, improve your stamina, and build muscle. Plus, they work well with many of the other gadgets in your home gym to reinvigorate your workout. So, you can use anything. This isn't that heavy, but really, depending on what you're going to do, you can actually get some good arm exercising. Just a little bit of weight. And then, look, I also have a tape holder. You can just kind of go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and just do different reps. So just count out 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, but don't go too fast. You want to just go 1, 2, And there's tons of things that you can turn into weight. My umbrella. There's a bag here. There's all sorts of things just sitting around that you can use as weights. And there you go. All right, so we've hit the 20-minute mark. So let's not go too far over that. What I would say next is this. Choose what you want to do specifically and make it, again, realistic. But make it fun for you. Make it something that you want to do every day. That maybe it's something that you haven't ever thought of before, but it's like, hey, I can actually make that fun. The funner or more appealing something is, the better it will be. Now, for my resolution. What I've decided to do is I want to compliment people a lot more. I notice that people compliment me. People are kind to me, and and I want to listen more, but I notice that sometimes I don't compliment as much back. And it doesn't seem right. And so I need to make sure that I'm mindful of just listening and kind of recognizing how important people are. Because we're all important people. And so that is what my resolution is to compliment people more, especially when I notice. Now, if somebody's uncomfortable with compliments, I'll leave it alone. But again, that's my resolution for the new year. And hopefully you come up with one. Please let me know what yours is. Or at least let me know if there's other ideas that you have that might spark our entire group to be like, maybe we could do this collectively. So, anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful new year and that your resolutions you'll have the resolve to complete your resolution. Anyway, I'll see you all very soon. Ciao for now.